Welcome back to Memory Lane Media, where the stories of yesterday come to life. If you grew up in the 1950s, or even just heard the stories, you probably remember a time that felt full of hope, progress, and pride. Main Street was the heartbeat of American life, and everything seemed possible. But behind the polished chrome and cheerful jingles, there were layers of truth not everyone saw at the time. Today, we invite you to take a thoughtful step back into that world, both the bright storefronts and the shadows behind them. When you close your eyes and think of Main Street in the 1950s, what do you see? Maybe it's the warm glow of neon signs outside the local diner, a row of shiny Chevys parked along the curb, or a young family dressed in their Sunday best strolling down the sidewalk. There's a charm to that image, something timeless and comforting. But behind that postcard-perfect scene was a more complicated reality, one filled with contrasts, growing pains, and quiet struggles. After the triumph of World War II, America experienced something remarkable, an economic boom that reshaped the country. Veterans came home to marry, start families, and build new lives. The baby boom was in full swing, and the government stepped in to help, offering home loans, college support, and job opportunities through the GI Bill. Our factories, once building tanks and bombers, now turned out refrigerators, cars, washing machines, and televisions. Wages rose. Jobs were everywhere. And for many, the American dream, a home in the suburbs, a tidy lawn, and a car in the driveway, felt closer than ever. Suburbs sprang up almost overnight. Shopping centers followed, and downtown main streets were busy and vibrant, filled with mom-and-pop stores, barbershops, diners, and movie theaters. But all that growth brought something else with it: advertising. Big business learned to speak directly to American families, especially through the rising power of television. Every show came brought to you by a sponsor, promising happiness in a bottle, a box, or a shiny new appliance. Billboards, magazines, and radio jingles reminded us that the good life was only a purchase away. It was more than marketing. It was a new way of life. Success meant having the latest car, the most modern kitchen, or the perfect suburban lawn. And this message worked. Americans spent like never before. Credit cards made their debut, shopping became a pastime. But underneath all that shiny optimism was something else. A growing culture of consumerism that made it easy to believe that more was always better. There were costs. Environmental protections were nearly non-existent. Factories released toxic chemicals into the air and water. Workers were exposed to asbestos, lead, and dangerous conditions with little understanding of the long-term risks. The race for profit often outpaced concern for safety or people. And while one version of the American dream was rising, many others were left behind. Racial segregation was still the law in many states. Black families and other minorities were denied fair access to housing, education, and employment. As some moved to the suburbs, others were shut out by policy and by prejudice. Then there was the Cold War, casting its long shadow over daily life. Patriotism ran deep, but so did fear. The threat of communism wasn't just on the news. It was in classrooms, in movie theaters, even in neighborhood gossip. Loyalty oaths, blacklists, and suspicion tore through communities. Careers were destroyed. People with differing views were often silenced. In our effort to protect freedom, we sometimes forgot what freedom meant. Yes, the 1950s gave us unforgettable music, bold style, and strong communities. But it also gave us lessons about power, inclusion, and what happens when we stop asking questions. Today, when we look back, let's hold on to the good. But let's not forget the full picture. Because the choices made then, the progress, the blind spots, the values we held, and the voices we ignored, they echo in the world we live in now. Thanks for joining us on this honest look back at Main Street America. If this story brought back memories or gave you a new perspective, consider giving this video a thumbs up and sharing it with someone who remembers those days too. And for more reflections from the golden years about family life, pop culture, and the history we lived through, subscribe to Memory Lane Media and click the bell so you'll never miss a moment from the past that still speaks to us today. Until next time, take care and keep the memories alive.